audience question.
This is the audience?
We're all in orange.
According to the author of Pediatrics, the average adolescent spends approximately 20 to 25 hours a week watching TV or listening to the radio. But what do you think these children are actually watching or actually listening to? My major urgency with the media closely relates to my sister because she's so young. I worry about the influence media has on her when it comes to drugs and alcohol. And the fact that the media is glamorizing alcohol and drug use tends to be quite the biggest issue in our society. And with our children today being very vulnerable, their minds are sponges, they absorb anything and everything they see on TV. So our society truly needs change. So before I can tell you solutions about how we can go about this change, let's first discuss details. It's really hard not to find ads for alcohol or drugs anywhere you can find them. According to Pediatrics, 70% of primetime network television shows and half of music videos present the use of alcohol or drugs. And they also said that 6-year-olds can even recognize the camel logo and associate it with smoking. And here is the logo, and it's pretty apparent why this could appeal to some adolescent age because it's an animation, it's a cartoon. Adolescents usually relate cartoons to being child appropriate. But what worries me most is that children look at TV as what real life is supposed to be. And I have a diagram here of children's perceptions of how often TV advertisements tell the truth for ages 4 through 11. Over 50% say mostly or always TV tells the truth, just within the 4 to 11-year-old range. And if you think about that, that's kind of scary. Anything you see on TV, you could believe it wouldn't really make sense. And so because of this, we need to take action and protect the views of our society. And so to limit the presence of drugs and alcohol within our media, we should replace it with positive advertisements like We Love the Influence. And this is their logo. Love the Influence are, what do you call them? I guess it would be anti-drug campaigning. And basically it's showing commercials to adolescents saying that you should live above the influence, don't do drugs, basically. And the best way to do this is to save all of the adult programs, or the adult commercials, i.e. the cigarettes, the drugs, the alcohol, for the late-night adult programming. It only makes sense. Or to just go ahead and get rid of all of it. And so that way, during the day, during the primetime hours, when kids are actually at home watching TV, you can promote more positive anti-drug campaigns. And the American Journal of Public Health actually did a survey and found that 8th grade girls who had greater campaign exposure to the anti-drug campaign actually used drugs less often. And so, also the Christian Science Monitor did a similar study and said that of the kids who have seen these campaigns, 55% of them said that they actually learned something about drugs. So logically, replacing a negative with a positive will result in a positive outcome. And so with the prevention, we can better our society where everyone can enjoy their daily life without being bombarded by drugs or alcohol advertisements. And ultimately, our society needs this major change. And so with less exposure to the drug and alcohol usage, it will give positive results in return. USA Today actually had an article talking about how Ohio State had done a study stating that 12% of 8th graders who hadn't seen any of the campaigns actually started using drugs by high school, which is pretty scary to think about. So if we could incorporate the positive influences like the Above the Influence campaign, our society wouldn't necessarily need to thrive or feel the need to have to advertise as much, particularly to the younger target market. And so to review what we've discussed, a major issue with our society today is the influence the media has on our adolescents for the use of drugs and alcohol. And we can really blame them for glamorizing it in general. These kids are far too vulnerable, their minds like sponges. They're far too easy of access to negative media, so anything they take in, they're going to absorb. So with a little bit of prevention, we can give society the change that it really needs. But think about it.